My name is Ben and I'll be teaching how to do a backwards gymnastics roll. So this is a prerequisite for learning how to do a backflip, learning how to do things where you have to flip backwards in sports like cheerleading, gymnastics, tumbling. So this skill requires a lot of flexibility to be able to bend your body in that position, as well as core strength to be able to maintain yourself and finish the movement. So we'll begin with the preparatory phase. So in this phase, we're going to start with our feet pointed forward, legs slightly bent, hands by our sides, and then from there we're going to pick up our hands straight overhead, palms facing the sky, bring them down to your ears, neck level, engage your core by sucking in your belly button to your spine, tighten your core, and then from this position we're going to tuck our chin down.
Okay, so we'll begin with the preparatory phase. So in this phase, we're going to go from our hands by our sides, looking straight, standing up straight. So we're going to bring the hands up above our heads. So hands go straight up above our heads, palms are facing up to the sky with straight arms, engage the core. You're going to bring your hands down towards your ears, neck level. So they're going to be in this area. So we don't want the hands to be behind our body over here, and then we don't want them in front of us over here. We want them in line with our body here, so that when we do roll back, we'll be able to catch ourselves and help ourselves finish the movement. We also want our chin to be tucked down into our chest so that our back is rounded, and it makes it much easier to roll and complete the movement, as opposed to our back being straight, and then it would be hard to roll on the floor if our back is straight here. It's much easier if our back is rounded so that we roll like a ball.
Okay, so Luke here is going to demonstrate how to do the preparatory phase. So feet pointed forward, legs slightly bent, hands by your side. You're going to place them above your head, palms to the sky, and bring them down to around your neck level. Perfect. You're going to engage your core. Good. And then tuck your chin down to your stomach, to your chest. Perfect. So now we'll begin the execution phase. So we'll pick off where we left off in the preparatory phase with our hands by our ears, neck, chin tucked and core engaged. So from this position, we're going to squat down, and we're going to roll back on our heels onto our butt and then onto our back. And then once we get into that position, our legs are going to pull our knees into our chest, and that'll help us flip over. So then we'll have our upper body perpendicular with the ground, legs coming over ourselves. We're going to land with our feet on the ground, and our hands are going to help us stabilize in that position. And then once we're there, we're going to finish with the ball through phase.
So now we'll start the execution phase from where we left with the preparatory phase. So now we're in this position with our palms facing up, right next to our ears / neck area. Our core is engaged and our chin is tucked down. So from here, we're going to begin to sit back and down. So we're going to bring our butt down here, and then you're going to watch as the heels, these are going to we're going to start rolling back on our heels. So we're going to come down towards our butt. So the butt comes down, and then if you watch the heels, we're going to start rolling back on our heels. So we start rolling back, we're going to land on our butt, and then we're going to do our best to maintain this curve right here. So we land on our butt, we roll to our back, still keeping our chin tucked so that this is rounded here, and to protect our neck. So we roll on our back. Ideally, our legs would still be tucked and our legs would be in this position. So then from here, you're going to watch the hands are going to make contact with the ground. This is why we want our palms flat and facing up, so it's easier to contact the ground. So from here, we're going to start to reach with our legs to help us continue to roll and get over. So now we are in this position with our body straight up and down, and our legs are starting to reach this way towards the ground. So we are going to just keep reaching. We're also going to use our hands to kind of start pressuring ourselves back this way to help us also get onto our feet. So we're going to get here, land on our feet and our hands, and that will be the end of the execution phase. So from here we'll go on to the follow-through phase.
Now we'll have Luke here demonstrate the execution phase. So in the preparatory phase, hands down, tuck. Now you're going to squat down, roll onto your heels, back. Good. So let's stand back up. So now that we have gotten to that position where our knees are tucked into us and we're on our backs, now we're just going to pull our legs a little faster, a little harder. That'll help us flip over. And we're going to land with our hands and feet on the ground. And from there we'll pause and then finish with the execution phase. Perfect. So now we'll finish with the follow-through phase. So we'll pick up where we left off on the execution phase. So we left off with our hands and feet both on the ground in this position. So now from here we're going to sit back on our butts and push off with our hands. And then we're just going to stand up from this position.
So now we'll begin the follow-through phase. So we are now in this position with our feet and our hands are both in contact on the ground, and we're in a somewhat of a pike / like bear crawl position. And so from here now we're going to bring our butt down towards our heels, and we're also going to push with our hands back so that we can get back onto our feet. So we're going to push and sit back at the same time. And now that we're balanced on our feet, now we can just stand up straight and regain our balance. So from here, we will just stand up, and that's the end of the skill.
And now from there, all you're going to do is sit back on your butt and push with your hands. Perfect. So some key points to when observing this is you want to be from either straight on from the back. So if you're rolling this way, you either want to be from the side that as the camera is, or from this direction rolling this way. Both are good to observe from, just so you can see different things of what's happening, whether the athlete's going to their side, if they're rolling over their shoulder. And this position is good to see if the athlete's doing what they're supposed to do with their hands, and they're moving all in one motion over themselves and not rolling onto their sides. So Luke here will demonstrate a backwards roll from a front view.
Okay, so this is a quick analysis of Luke's backwards roll from the front view. So he starts off great with his arms to the side. Arms go straight up, palms up. He's in good position with chin tucked. Starts to lower, still good. He rolls onto his back. So everything is good from the beginning to here. But then you can see he starts going over his right shoulder, and he loses contact with his hand, and he goes to his elbow pretty much. So ideally, we want to keep the head tucked enough so that, and the back rounded, so that this doesn't have to happen. So we want the hands to be just like his other hand, his left hand is. We want both arms to be just like that, so that the athlete can go straight down the middle of their body and roll over their center of body and not over their shoulder or one of the sides. So this is why seeing the rolls and skill from this angle is very beneficial, because you can see things like if they're going to the side, or if they have some sort of imbalance or trying to compensate somehow.
So some drills or progressions to help learn this skill are to progress as we did with just rolling on your back, getting comfortable with doing that. So just doing this a few times to get comfortable with the motion, and then you can have a spotter help push your hips over and help you guide you into the correct positions and the correct movement. It also helps to use foam pads or a soft surface when learning this, as hard floor or concrete is not very ideal and it's kind of uncomfortable. So we'll demonstrate right here how to help spot and help finish the movement if an athlete hasn't quite gotten to comfortable enough to do it themselves. So go ahead and do it. So it'll just help kind of push on their hips, low back, and help push them over, and help them flip over onto their hands and knees, or hands and feet, sorry.
Here you can see the difference between doing a roll on a soft ground versus a hard ground. In the soft ground, it's much more fluent, and there's not as much of a hitch almost